Hello everyone and welcome to the updated tier list video for the 14 classes currently in Dragon Raja. Yeah, you heard that right, 14 classes. So I've done the tier list video earlier January, but I think that was before the release of the Yasai class. I'm not certain if the Shadow Fencer had been released by then, but just in case, we'll include every single class in the game currently in this tier list video. Now, like my usual guide videos, I'll say this is based on my experience, mainly from the free-to-play perspective. So, of course, if you are a whale using any class at all, you'll be strong with that class. Although you will still notice some differences, but it's not as glaring as when you're free to play. So this video won't be as long as the previous one. I won't go too detailed into the grouping and stuff of everything. I'll just classify them shortly for you guys so you can understand everything. Without wasting too much time, let's jump right into the tier list video. Okay, so you can see from this table right here that we have S top tier, S mid tier, and lower tier of S. Same thing applies to the A tiers. There is no B, C, D, or E because every class is useful in one way or the other. And the ones that are not that great in PvP or even PvE, they can be fun to play. Mainly the classes that are very fun to play are the ones that are better in PvE also. First of all, I'm just gonna grab the Soul Dancer and drop it right here. Again, this is my belief. I don't think the Soul Dancer is great in anything actually. The current stage of the game, Soul Dancer doesn't really suit that well. It's one of the forgotten classes, I'll just call it that. It is kind of useful in group content and especially at the lower levels. Remember, this is from a free-to-play perspective. So if you're a whale, please use a free-to-play account for a bit before you try, judging this video from a whale's perspective. Because as a whale, any class you use will be good for you because you are a whale. So the Blademaster, I believe, is going to be an S tier class, but it's going to be mid tier. The new buffs it's received increases its DPS a lot, but still it is the Blademaster. It's can't really compare to some of the other DPS classes. And for free to plays, you will be able to probably defeat maybe 100 to 200,000 rated stronger opponents. But there's a gap you just can't cross as a free-to-play Blademaster. Don't get me wrong, it is a great class and I am enjoying using it a lot recently, but still you will notice that this excels more with the whales than the free-to-play. It just shines a lot more when used by whales. Next is the Assassin. The Assassin is of course a mid tier there as an S class. Before it would have been up here, but it's just gonna be here because the buffs the Blademaster receives kind of counters the buffs the Assassin received. But doesn't mean the Assassin isn't good. It is still a great class and I still recommend this for free to plays, for the lower levels especially, and the higher level free to plays can use this still. It does work well. You just need to be a lot more strategic. This is not a button mashing or auto class. I'm gonna repeat that. This is not a button mashing or auto class compared to the Blademaster that you can put yourself on auto or just button mash and still win. So you have to be quite careful using the Assassin. Next is the Gunslinger. I'm going to drag it right here to a mid A tier. It's really excels in DPS. Don't get me wrong, the Gunslinger does a lot of damage. But the thing is, some of these other classes outclasses it in DPS, but not just in DPS, but they are also kind of overall better for survival in dungeons or group content and stuff. So the Gunslinger might be great, but if you are free to play and you use Gunslinger, yeah, you're gonna die a lot. So I will only suggest this for the lower levels. The higher levels can still use this, but only whales will be confident enough to use the Gunslinger class at the current meta of the game, the current stage of the game. Only the whales will be able to use this confidently in 1v1 PvP and not suffer too many losses. The fighter is next, and I'm going to put the fighter right up here at, I think 8 here should be better for the fight. It can be an S tier class, don't get me wrong, if you are a really good fighter, but no matter how good you are as a free-to-play using fighter, especially 1v1 PvP currently, you're going to die a lot. It's just not worth it because the fighter's true strength comes in its damage and being able to use its mecha state a lot. You are supposed to be continuously on super armor that is being almost unstoppable and just mowing through your opponent. It won't work for you as a free-to-play, but you can still enjoy this class in dungeons, in 1v1s, and in group content as well. It still works well, but you just will not be exceptional. So it's just an A tier class. The Reaper goes all the way right here. This is a big S tier class. Honestly, I can still take it up here because it is the only contender against the other top S tier classes. It can be up there, but I'm just gonna put it here for now. maybe later on in the video I might take it a little up there. It does have a lot of great stuff, and recently it has been given a buff that enables it to escape the Illusionist cage. That alone boosts the Reaper up a lot. Now the only weak points the Reaper has, apart from other Reapers, will mainly be I think the Shadow Fencer is kind of annoying to fight, so is the Yasai a little, but the main weak point is the Puppeteer because of the bleed that stops the Reaper from its crazy movement and stuff. Next is the Puppeteer. Because it is strong against a lot of the current classes, mainly because of that, I'm gonna put it right here. Now for free to play, I won't advise you use this because you're going to lose a lot, but it works well still, even in group content as well. The bleeding and laceration of this class has been buffed so much, and the fact that most of the new classes that are being introduced are giving abilities from the Reaper. They are like mini Reapers. We have the Visioneer with the teleportation, we have the Shadow Fencer with the teleportation and partial invisibility. Then we have the Yasai as well with the teleportation and invisibility. Puppeteer's bleed really works well. That is if you can get it off. And the one class that can also counter getting bled is the Reaper, is the Assassin. So it can't really surpass this in damage, it can't really surpass this in survivability because it barely has any shields, just damage reduction. So it's just gonna stay at the lower S tier here, mainly because of that bleed. That bleed is insane. I'm gonna give it to it. For the Phantom Sound, this class is like a dark horse. I'm really tempted to put it right here because if this is used by a wheel, it can be crazy. But no, the Phantom Sound is just here, mainly because of the poison pool that can be a crazy game changer. Same thing with the healings, huge healings and stuff. You know what, I'm gonna come clean. I just like this class. The playstyle is very fun. Maybe I'm a little biased here, but the playstyle of the Phantom Sound when using it is one of the most enjoyable classes in this game. Then we have the Illusionist as well. This is going to be all the way. You know what, the Illusionist why I'm gonna say I'll drop it here is because most of the classes have received buffs against the Illusionist cage, and that was one of the strongest points of the Illusionist. Aside from its damage, the caging skills of the Illusionist was what helped it defeat the Blademaster and some other classes aside from that spirit buff it received. But you know what, the cage still does a lot of damage, so because of that damage, the Illusionist comes up here. Although all these other classes can escape from the cage, it doesn't really have that much advantage against them in mobility, neither does it have against them in survivability, but it does have a lot of damage. So the Illusionist, because of the buff the Reaper has received and these other classes being immune to its cage locking skill, stays at the S mid tier. It isn't as insanely strong as it used to be. Still a very good class nonetheless. Do not underestimate the Illusionist. For the Skateboarder, I'm going to drag it all the way to this point right here. Although it is kind of better than the Phantom Sound by far, the shields of this class are insane. That is one main thing I love about it. The mobility is awesome and all, but the shields, insane. Now its damage as well is also great, but that only shines more when it goes into its bow state. And the problem you will have if you are free to play using the Skateboarder is you probably will not survive to go into that bow state. So this gets shield when it goes into the bow state, it gets a shield when it goes out of the bow state, but will you survive to get to the bow state? And even if you do, how many health will you have left? Like how much health? Will it be half, less than half? Only the whales can go into bow state in 1v1 PvP using the Skateboarder and still have a little more than half health left, or even almost full HP. So this isn't really advisable for free to play, but it is a very fun class nonetheless. The Floramancer is going to come to a mid tier. It doesn't really have much CC immunity in a game where almost every other class stuns. Not being immune to stun or having a way aside from dashing and stuff to be immune to stun is quite saddening. Now its damage is awesome, but the poison is the main thing of this class. Now notice I say poison, not bleed or laceration. The Puppeteer bleeds and lacerates. This one poisons. That is your main damage. The poison helps you a lot, and that poison alone can push it all the way to a top tier. Yeah, it can push it all the way there, but because if you do not surpass your opponent with about, let's say, 800,000 rating, also all those poisons might not really make much sense, especially if they're a good opponent that uses classes like the Assassin or the Reaper. Heck, even the Puppeteer can deal more with the bleed than you. So you need to be careful with this class. It is a good class, it looks great, it is fun, but you are just exposed. I feel very exposed using the Floramancer. Next is the Visioneer. It's going to be our very first S top tier class, of course. I mean, come on, you guys already saw that coming. It's going to stay up there. The damage is insane. It can immediately execute an opponent when their HP gets to 15% or below. You can immediately kill them. And then you have the teleportation, that's for mobility. You have the Stones of Dimension Wall and Hacker. That is insane. The only way to counter Hacker is by using your auto combat, and you do not want to stand still using auto combat against this class. It's going to destroy you absolutely, especially if it's used by Will. A free-to-play can still shine with this, but you will be squishy, but you can still deal quite a lot of damage. But I don't think you will deal that much damage compared to Wills at all. This class is just amazing, and I think it needs nerf. I think this is one of the only classes that has not been nerfed at all in this game. I might be wrong there. Next is the Shadow Fencer. We have the Shadow Fencer straight up there. It just released and it absolutely broke the game as much as the Visioneer did on its release. It has teleportation. It has the highest or the fastest attacking speed in the game. Fastest attacking speed. Notice I said attacking speed, not movement speed. It has a very fast attacking speed, but in mobility it still does not move as fast as classes like, let's say, the Reaper. It cannot go as far in this case, not fast. It can't go as far as the Skateboarder can, but it can move fast. It does move fast. This class is a real problem. I mean, it stuns its opponent. Even when it is not attacking you, you're just attacking this, you can get stunned. The EX tracks your opponent. I mean, even as a Reaper switching with my clone, the EX will still track the original. But the problem is most people that use this class just become a little too lazy and auto their fight, or just go ooga boonga and don't really use strategy. There are very few Shadow Fencers that use strategy because this class just carries. It just carries through everything. Now, if you do meet a Shadow Fencer that actually knows how to play this class and play properly, the chances of you surviving will be slim. Trust me on that. Now, the latest class is the Yasai. I think this is what everyone has been waiting for. The Yasai is gonna be all the way right here. It's a very good class. Now, why did I put it here and not straight up to an S tier? Maybe it's because I am still not with the 180 set, the level 180 set, so I receive a lot of damage and don't deal as much damage as I should. But when I use this class, I felt like I was a little exposed, which is funny because it has invisibility, but the duration of the invisibility is just way unsatisfactory. It's way too short. But the damage of this class is crazy. This class being released, I could already surpass, I think, 200,000 rating. I believe with the proper set and more usage of this class, it will be all the way contending with the Reaper and these other classes right here. So this is how I'm going to put it. Finally, I'm just going to drop it right here. The Yasai is going to come all the way here. Its damage is absolutely amazing. I really want to put it on the S tier here, but for now I just want to keep it like this. It needs more experimentation. I'm going to tell you, it needs more experimentation. But this class is a real dark horse. If you're not careful when facing an opponent using this class, I have experienced this, and I lost to someone who was, I think, 200,000 or so ratings lower than me when I decided not to use filth against this class. It was something. Although I could have won that too, I messed up somewhere there, but still, the stuns, the DPS, it has everything, and it is really impressive. But if I do take it up here, I will have to take the Reaper up there as well. That is the deal. If I take it up here like this, I will have to take the Reaper up there as well. But if we are talking completely free to play, the class I will suggest for you, because I keep getting asked this question a lot. I'm a free to play, I just started, what class do I suggest for you? If you are the level below the level 90s or so, and you're free to play and you're a competitive player, I will suggest that you use either the Assassin or the Blademaster, depending on what you like. If you like magic, go with the Assassin. If you like melee or close combat, go with the Blademaster. Above the level 90s, there's a lot more choice, as you can see. And if you're someone that only likes PvE, then pick any of these classes that you enjoy playing with the most and just go with it. But if you are competitive, the only two classes I'll suggest for you are the Reaper and the Assassin. These are the only two classes that can help you in PvP, especially 1v1 PvPs. These are the only 2 classes if you are free to play. Now the other ones work well. I'm not saying they do not work for free to plays. The Visioneers work well, the Shadow Fencer works well, the Yasai also works, the Blademaster is impressive, the Illusionist is fun, the Puppeteer is nice, but this one only works because all these ones deal in mobility most times. And the reason why I suggested the Assassin and the Reaper instead of all these other ones is because these are the only 2 classes you can use as a free to play that you will probably survive long enough to enjoy actually fighting. That's the main reason. With these other ones, you do not really have the assurance that you will survive long enough to deal even a minuscule of damage to the current whales in the game. And also, it's fun to see you survive while whales die in dungeons. It's really fun. Remember, this is my opinion. This is just what I've experienced and what I believe works well currently for the game, especially for free to plays. Now, if you are a whale, I've said this before, I'll say it again, you can use any class at all and it will work for you because you are a whale. Heck, you can even use Soul Dancer. I've seen whales destroy and absolutely dominate in battlegrounds with Soul Dancer. And that will be it for this tier list video. I hope this video has been helpful for you guys in understanding the current state of Dragon Raja. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or requests, please drop them down there in the comment section. I read all of them. I'll respond to you if needed. I'll make a video if necessary. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna go do my dailies. And as always, I have to see you all in the next video. Take care, guys.